shifting focus back then to India's cotton industry, and to discuss that and more, we now have YG Prasad, Director of CICR, Central Institute of Cotton Research, now joining us. Sir, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and FM. Nirmala Sitharaman has announced a national mission for cotton productivity with 500 crore budgetary allocation. Decode this for us. What really will this 500 crore be utilized for, and how much will industry benefit on account of this additional allocation that has been done?
Yeah, good afternoon. The budget announcement in February 2025 for cotton mission, initial allocation of 500 crores for this year is, if you see the announcement, it is for 5 years. So 5 years, the proposal may go up to 2,000 crores. And basically, this cotton mission is about increasing the cotton productivity. As you know, our consumption has increased, and along with the carryover stock and export potential, it is exceeding the production. This year's estimate is about 300 lakh bales. Slightly, it will be upped, but still the gap will be there for between 326 lakh consumption that we require, both domestic and international. And so that gap we need to address in the quickest possible time. So one way to do that is increasing the cotton productivity. So the mission will revolve around one of the important components is on boosting cotton productivity through research and extension. Second is to move towards processing, efficiency in processing, contamination control, reducing trash content, modernizing our ginning and pressing factories. So that will be a second component wherein quality cotton, branded cotton like Kasturi, traceability, fiber testing, everything will be in place.
That's as far as India's cotton productivity and allocation is concerned, but India's cotton production currently stands at about 32 million bales, but textile industry's demand is projected to reach about 45 million bales by 2026. Will India's cotton production increase to meet textile industry's demand over the next 2 to 3 years by domestic production itself?
Definitely. This mission is about increasing production, overall cotton production, at least to cross 400 lakh bales. Of course, this 2026 timeline that was kept was about 5 years back. 2020, it was estimated that by 2026, we'll touch 450 lakh bales. But the realistic figure would be to first achieve 400 lakh bales and then go towards 450 lakh bales in the quickest possible time. So this mission definitely will contribute to the cotton production increase and bridging the gap between production and consumption, and also tapping the export potential that we used to have earlier, where we used to export about 50 to 70 lakh bales earlier. Now it has come down to 18 to 20 lakh bales. That opportunity also we need to harness. So this mission, while increasing the cotton productivity, will contribute to increased production in the nearest possible time, definitely.
India's cotton production is expected to inch higher, that's the word, but what about yield? Because India's cotton yield continues to remain subpar at 447 kg per hectare, which is much lower than the global average of about 790 kg per hectare. First, tell us what is the reason of such subpar performance, and what really can India do to increase its cotton yield going forward?
Very often we compare that productivity per hectare productivity between very high productivity countries like Australia, which is topping the list with 2000 kg lean per hectare, compared to our 447 kg lean per hectare. Brazil, China, these two other countries have about more than 1600 kg lean per hectare. But if you see the conditions that compare with our cotton cultivation holdings, irrigation, technology availability to farmers, then precision agriculture, precision cotton farming practices, there is a huge difference between how it is happening in Australia and Brazil and what is happening here, because we are basically a producing and consuming country, whereas Australia and Brazil are mainly exporting countries. The average farm size in Brazil is about 6,500 hectare, and mostly about 300 to 500 farmers are there producing cotton in 15 lakh hectares. Whereas in Australia, if you see, only 1,500 cotton families are engaged in cultivating cotton in about 3 lakh hectare area, and the average area is more than 600 hectare. As apart from the large farms, most of the area that is produced either is under irrigated or assured rainfall. And mostly it is combined with the traits of both insect resistance through BT as well as herbicide tolerance. And the level of mechanization that is there in Australia and Brazil, because large farms are there, highly mechanized from sowing to harvest.
Mr. Prasad, I understand India's yield is not comparable to rest of the world because of several factors, but how much can it inch higher by, say, over the next 2 to 3 years on account of several initiatives that the government and the industry is taking?
See, I can tell that why it is not prudent to compare between our production strategies, practices based on our land holdings, the number of farmers and resources that are available to farmers, and the frequency of climate variability we are experiencing in tropical climates, especially variability in rainfall. So we have to compare within India, there are farmers who are realizing same kind of productivity that is achieved in Australia, same kind of productivity that is achieved in Brazil. Why these farmers are able to achieve and why other average productivity is low. Last 2 years, we have been doing a lot of field activities promoting high density planting system, wherein we are targeting compact plant types of hybrids with the good traits which are desired by farmers, using high seed rate, using machinery for planting, targeting them to agroecology, means shallow soils, high density planting, closer planting in medium soils. So in these vast tracts across 5 states and in 8 states, we are doing this large-scale demonstrations in farmers' fields across 15,000 hectares, involving 17,000 farmers. And the average yields, we have seen that when you do this, majority of the farmers for example, in Maharashtra, where productivity is only 350 kg lint per hectare compared to the national average of 447 kg lint per hectare. Farmers here, instead of getting 5 to 6 quintals per acre, they are able to get 9 quintals per acre above. That means our world average productivity is about 800 kg lint per hectare. Many of our farmers in these projects, special project on cotton funded by the Ministry of Agriculture, 75% of the farmers have achieved more productivity above 9 quintals per hectare.
Mr. Prasad, thank you so much for taking your time out in this edition of Commodity Central. But don't go anywhere. Newsroom coming up on the other side.